We are unique because part of our taxpayers belong to the town of Riverhead, part of our tax base belongs to the town of Brookhaven. So before we even begin to set the levy, we first must need to determine what portion is going to be levied against the town of Riverhead, what portion is going to be levied against the town of Brookhaven. In order to perform this calculations, we receive the assessed values from both the town of Riverhead, the town of Brookhaven. We also do a calculation which includes an equalization rate provided by New York State. And based on this information, we proportion the total tax levy, a portion to the town of Brookhaven, a portion to the town of Riverhead. From that point forward, the Board of Education does not determine how much an individual's tax bill will be increased by. The tax assessor's office performs a calculation that is what determines a property's school tax value. Before we enter into Proposition 2, does anyone have any questions on Proposition 1, the 2017-18 expenditure budget? Okay. Proposition 2, authorization to establish a capital reserve fund. Voter approval is needed to establish and spend from this reserve fund. What is a capital reserve fund? It is a fund that the district is looking for voter approval to establish. It's like a checking account. It is like a savings account. However, in order to establish this account, the voters must give us the authority to establish it, and then when we go to spend from it, we must present to the community, put it on a ballot, and the voters must vote to pass it. Establishing or spending from this reserve will have no impact on the tax levy in any year. The purpose of this reserve is to finance district-wide capital improvements. The maximum amount of this reserve is $7.5 million. What this means is on May 16th, we're not asking for $7.5 million. We aren't asking for any money. We are asking for create an account that the district is not able to put any more than $7.5 million in it, and they must spend that $7.5 million after receiving voter approval within a 10-year period. The source of funding in order to fund this reserve will come from budgetary appropriations, meaning it could be a line item could be added to the 18-19 budget, saying X dollars upon the budget passing will be transferred to the capital reserve fund. Another way to fund this reserve, as we do any other district reserve, the Board of Education has the authority via a resolution to take unappropriated fund balance and fund this reserve. They also have the ability to transfer money from other reserves as authorized by law. Why should the district establish the capital reserve fund now? It's important to not forget that on January 13th, 2015, the voters approved the bond referendum of $48.5 million. But it's also important to also point out the bond committee prioritized a list of projects that was much greater than $48.5 million to determine a bond that was able to receive support in order to be passed, as this district has not been successful in the past in passing bonds. So they whittled the bond down, but never with the intent to ensure that all needed repairs and all alterations and all renovations needed were going to be completed under the $48.5 million bond. So in order to plan for future capital work, establishing this reserve and funding this reserve before the work is needed would ensure that there's no impact on future operating budgets. So we would not have to look to add another expenditure line to the bond, to the budget, such as issuing another bond. We would not have to increase the tax levy in order to pay for additional repairs. We would be setting money aside in advance of the work, and only after the voters approve the spending from that reserve would any of that work be able to be completed. Without a capital reserve, when capital renovations are needed, additional borrowing will increase the operating budget. The exact ballot language that you will see on May 16th to grant the authorization to establish a capital reserve fund is listed here. Shall the Board of Education of the Shoreham-Wading River Central School District be authorized to establish a capital reserve fund pursuant to Section 3651 of the New York Education Law, to be known as the Shoreham-Wading River Central School District 2017 Capital Reserve Fund, for a probable term of 10 years in an ultimate amount of $7,500,000, whose purpose shall be to fund in whole or in part capital improvements to facilities of the district, including but not limited to reconstruction and renovation of facilities, Americans with Disabilities Act features, athletic fields, bleachers, auditoriums, ceilings, computers, technology systems, networks, sidewalks, curbing, doors, windows, mechanical and electrical systems, energy management systems, exterior and interior lighting, fencing, flooring, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, irrigation systems, locker rooms, gymnasiums, masonry, plumbing and sanitary systems, roofs, security systems, toilet rooms, walls, and ancillary or related work required in connection with such capital improvements, with such funds to be obtained from budgetary appropriations, transfers of unappropriated fund balances from the general fund as authorized from time to time by the Board of Education, and amounts from certain other reserve funds as authorized by law, and interest accrued on such funds over the term of the Capital Reserve Fund. It is clear that within this resolution, that within this proposition language, we do have the flexibility to do many different capital repairs. The purpose of such a detailed scope allows the district to plan in order to accomplish whatever the capital needs are. The district would probably prepare a plan of a work needing to be completed, present it to the Space and Facilities Committee, go through the process within that committee, let the committee come up with a consensus, make a presentation to the Board of Education. After the Board of Education supports the project, then it would be presented to the voters in order to be approved. So again, the Proposition 2 on May 16th is not asking for money. It is not asking to spend money. It is asking to be authorized to create a fund where money can be placed to do future capital improvements only after first receiving voter approval. That concludes the budget hearing presentation. Is there any questions on Proposition 1 or Proposition 2? Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions now that we're back up here? No. Thank you, Mr. Arcuri.
Thank you.
Votes and resolutions. Any questions on the minutes of April 18th? Motion to approve. Anybody? Bill, second. Kimberly, all in favor?
Was that the one, did I leave on that one? Was that the one I left?
Yeah.
So-
All opposed? All abstain. 501. Any questions on the treasurer's report for March of 2017? Motion to approve? Rob, second. Jack, all in favor? 6-0. Any questions on any of the resolutions?
What was the last minute change on one of the resolutions?
247, the new
Yeah.
tech.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read it.
It was just different wording, different change in language, but nothing substantial. It was just the way the resolution was formatted.
Okay, take them as a group. Motion to approve Resolution 1617-245 through Resolution 1617-258. Rob, second. Bill, all in favor? 6-0. We have a slew of donations. Wanted to thank the anonymous donor again. We've had several of those lately. The Wading River PTA, we have the middle school PTO, and the Wildcat Athletic Club. So all of our district organizations, thank you on behalf of the board. Any questions on personnel? Motion to approve? Rob, second. Mike, all in favor? 6-0. Next, we have communications. It's the Nassau Suffolk School Board Association dinner meeting. Any takers? Where is that, Janice?
Isn't that all the way in Woodbury?
Woodbury.
Woodbury?
Woodbury Country Club.
Woodbury Country Club,
What's the deadline to reply?
24th, May 24th.
Okay. So everyone could just let Janice know by the 24th. We have a couple discussion items tonight. The first is we need to schedule a reorganization meeting. Janice, do we have any proposed dates?
Well, July 5th is the prescribed date because July 4th, Tuesday, is a holiday. District is requesting it to be that first week because of the alterations and the additions at the elementary schools. So if possible,
6th or the 5th?
could be the 5th, could be the 3rd, Monday.
No,
I'm not going to
Could
be
be the
here that
sixth.
whole week,
the
so.
whole week?
I'm sorry?
I won't.
It's a difficult discussion because there may be a
I
whole
know.
bunch of new faces up here come the
Which is
5th or
another
6th
reason-
of July.
Which is another reason we should plan it now, so future board members
So what?
will know in
I
advance.
won't be here that whole week, so.
You won't be here?
No.
I'll be around. Maybe.
I'll be around the 5th through the 7th.
I'm sorry?
I'll be around the 5th through the 7th. I won't be around to this 3rd or the 4th.
So do you want to schedule it for maybe the 3rd or the 6th or the 5th?
What was the reason we can't do it the following week, the 11th?
Okay, Rob won't be here the 3rd.
Okay, can we push to the following week?
Yes.
Kimberly, the following works better for
Yeah.
you?
The 11th?
I won't. I'll be back.
11th is fine for me.
Everybody good with the Tuesday, the 11th? July 11th?
I won't be here. But I might not be here anyhow. Is there anybody running for the board that's here tonight that has a problem with either of those weeks? If you're here, we might as well ask you. I'm the only one who might not be here, so. Okay, so make it the 11th. I'm not here, I'm not here. And the second discussion item is we had a request of whether or not the district can live stream the Meet the Candidates night, which is next Tuesday night. What time is that start?
I'm sorry?
What time does Meet the Candidates start?
7:30.
7:30? I don't know that we have the technology in-house to do it. I believe there's been some offers from outside the district. I don't know if those offers can be taken. I don't know the platform they'll be live streamed over, so I don't know how to answer those questions. I don't know if anybody else can chime in.
So what is the current procedure? It gets posted the next day?
Yeah.
It says here that we would have to, the board would have to approve it. Would that be as part of a resolution? No?
No.
So then the board would have to approve it.
Oh, I thought he was asking about me.
So if we can't do it
Mike,
in-house.
what are you I'm sorry, repeat your question?
It says here live stream is a subscription-based service and would require Board of Ed approval.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question. Yeah, if we use an outside vendor, it will need a contract, which will need board approval.
How do we accomplish that before next Tuesday?
We need to get a contract, we need to get it to council, they need to approve it.
Can you guys
Like
talk
every
into
other
the
contract in the
microphone?
district.
Can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I said we would have to get the contract from the
Yeah.
vendor, we'd have
I'm
to
not
send it to
opposed to it,
council and
but-
get it approved by Tuesday.
Is the point of the live stream to have, I understand what the point of the live stream is, to have people view it. I mean, it's going to be recorded, so is that not good enough?
My understanding was that they wanted people to be able to, from home, to be able to ask questions.
Well, that's not part of the, I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
Okay?
That's not how it's set up either way. We have a moderator that is handed questions, they sort through the questions, they take out duplicate questions, they determine what's relevant. None of the candidates see what they do up there, and they present the questions to the candidates, starting with someone different every time. So having someone ask a question via video from home just doesn't fit in that format.
Maybe we can have, well, I don't know how quickly we could do this, but maybe we could have residents email questions prior to meet the candidates, and we could give some of those questions to the, Janice, you could give some of those questions to the moderator. They could pick them out and do what they do on, treat it like they do that night. Because I know every question that is asked is not, every question a resident or person in the audience gives the moderator to ask. They don't necessarily ask every question.
No, they try and eliminate duplicates.
Right. So, I just don't know how we could go about doing that.
Any comments?
What do you guys think?
I think the idea of emailing in the questions is probably.
Can't
the
hear
best.
you.
I think the idea that Rob suggested of emailing in questions is going to be the best option. I don't think we can put anything live. I know the district doesn't have the technical capabilities to do it. And I don't think the time frame fits. We don't even know the cost to get a contract together. I think that just getting questions emailed in so that they get to the moderators in time to be sorted and the candidates addressed.
Works for me.
I agree, because even the idea of a moderator, I mean, we asked them to moderate this event, so if we're not using them to their full potential, then why even have a moderator in the first place? So I think, I like the idea of emailing questions, because people that can't be here can still have their questions asked.
And see it the next day.
Right, it'll be recorded, it'll still be, it just won't be live.
Do the candidates have anything to say about this?
Come on up.
Henry Perez, Wading River. I think it's important that we somehow vet the questions prior, make sure that the people that are posing the questions live in the community. I don't want to receive questions from someone that lives in a different community that has no vested interest in our community. So we should think about how that would be done beforehand.
Well, I think on their card, they're required to put their name and their town on it. I think we should probably have the same requirement of the email.
Yeah, but, I mean, is
Yeah,
that,
I mean, I don't
is
think
that
we
easily
would accept
falsified? I
anonymous
mean,
questions.
What's that?
it could be easily falsified.
Yeah.
But they could also be,
And yeah, I guess this person in the
Take some
crowd could
steps
be.
to verify
I mean,
it.
yeah. You have the same problem in the crowd, I guess. Someone could say they live somewhere else, even though they're
Yeah.
present, yeah,
Sure.
so.
I don't think we need a contract. I mean, I FaceTime and live stream online, no cost ever. So the idea of spending more money on a contract to bring in an outside vendor to do something we all do for free at home, I think is unwise use of funds. If you're unable to put the plan in place before the meeting, I understand. I did email the board back in April, I think April 18th, so it's been a few weeks since this request was made, and I'm happy that it's on the agenda, but unfortunately, it seems like it's not going to be entertained. I'm not thinking that we should use this service and this opportunity to reach the community as a means to have people from outside the community engage. Certainly, I want members of the community to be able to engage. This is just another platform. They wouldn't be asking questions live. It would be another way for them to view and submit questions to then be vetted through the same process that's done when people do show up in person. We have a lack of engagement in the community. We're trying to improve that, and I think this is just another platform. So hopefully we can put something together before next week to make this work. And if not, I do appreciate you at least having the time here to discuss this. Thank you.
anyone else? I think the board's in favor of getting everybody in the community that has a question to ask, to have them ask the 7 candidates, but using the manner that we have set up now with the moderator, I think the only viable answer is Rob's, and that's to have them send their questions in, identify who they are, and give them to the moderator, have them vet them with the rest of the questions that are presented that night, and, he or she can ask the candidates the questions that they choose. Again, the candidates have no say over the questions that are chosen that evening. Everybody go with that?
Yeah.
All right.
How, I have a question, how are we going to make that public?
Right.
Website? Put a statement on the website?
We could, Neil just said maybe we could send a Connect that out. Maybe?
Yes,
We could tweet it.
be happy to do that. I'm going to be doing a Connect Ed message on Lax
I
Alpha
mean, to
Cancer.
volunteer you on the spot, but you're here.
I offered. So I'll piggyback Lax Alpha Cancer and let the community know. And by the way, that only goes to our community and the parents of our students, so, and our staff members. Well, our staff members may not be in the community. But I can do that. I can piggyback the Lax Alpha Cancer call and offer this opportunity to residents to email in after they properly identify themselves, of course. And I take it they'll email it to the district clerk or the Board of
Yeah.
Education?
District
No,
clerk.
district clerk, no.
District
I don't
clerk.
think it'd be appropriate for the board to see it.
Yeah,
Correct,
then-
correct, district
You want
clerk.
to put a statement on the website as well?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So what do we do with, just thinking out loud, what do we do with the questions that get sent to the board? You know, not everybody's going to follow directions, they're going to email BOE, we're all going to see them. And it's only appropriate if we see them, everybody sees them.
I think if those questions get
Well, we
emailed.
could just,
It's a good problem.
Those questions.
I just,
Good
you know, like,
question.
if
Good
it comes
question.
to us, then you guys should see the questions as
we could
well.
void those questions. Just void them, not use them.
We could do that as well.
I think it would, yeah, I think that's a good idea.
All right.
All right.
What about someone hand delivering questions instead of email? You can come and drop questions off to Janice from now till next
fine.
week. Might be easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no option of emailing people or, the email
Well,
that
if we
goes
can-
out
if
by
we can-
mistake.
I think you still got to give the email option just in case somebody can't get here.
I mean, they,
Also do an email blast.
if somebody really wants a question, they can give it to their neighbor, they can hand the card in that night. I mean, there's a million ways to get a question answered or asked. So we're good? Any additional comments from any residents? No? Motion to adjourn to executive. Bill, second Rob. All in favor? 6-0.